Heart of the City.
Yes. I feel like my best music I've ever recorded in my life was Heart of the City.
I'd probably agree with that because we definitely worked on that.
Bro, we went in. That was a transition. At that point, me and Maul wasn't seeing eye to eye. It wasn't over necessarily nothing between me and him. It was just stuff that he was going through, and then it was problems with the label, and it was expectations. Like nobody really made a lot of money off that project, so you know. But it's kind of hard at that time. I mean, now me and Maul have talked about it 10,000 times, and he understands now.
Yeah.
But at that time, you know, it was just some personal shit like was going on with us, and it was like you and MA came in and was 100% like the A&Rs and the visionaries behind everything musical on Heart of the City, and I was like the subject that was explaining to y'all what I was trying to do.
Yeah,
it was
you
like
had a vision.
I had a vision for it.
Definitely had a vision
And
from start to fucking finish.
For real, and I was going for that Hova status. I wanted it to be like Jay-Z. I was going for that legendary Hall of Fame type status with that project, and y'all understood. You know what I'm trying to say? So the sound was big, the vibe was big. When we named it Heart of the City, we kind of just put that at the top, and just went. Was like, all right, this is the bar. This is what we trying to come with. This is what we did.
I think one of the first songs was Fly Gangster.
Yeah, that was one of the first songs. That was the first time like a record was ever really presented to me too. It had a hook on. I'm out, nigga. All I gotta do is drop my verses. I was like, oh yeah, I love it here. I love it here. Let's work. So it was chemistry. It was like non-stop. Like you never charged me for a studio session. It was all like, it was just straight. We had hours and we did so many songs and all kind of shit, and I wanted to like repay you with my work ethic. That's why like every time I came, I was like, I got 4 today, D, let's go.
I mean, the fact that, and this is just me and my opportunistic brain, it was like the fact that you were in my studio and my other lower level clients saw you in passing. Yeah. That's how I made my money.
No, real talk. Real talk. And I felt good about that. I felt good. Like I felt good that we were able to, like, this is like proof that niggas can work together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's like, why I be thinking about that all the time. Like, how are people not able to just say, let's just get this bread? All right, let's put our head down, work, and push forward for the greater good. Because what Heart of the City did for the city was incredible. Like, I want to talk about what gave you the fucking audacity to do a fucking tour, party bus tour, album release. And we end up at Pink Diamond, like
for real. That shit was crazy. And then and that was the record release party. And it was like nigga in Slowpoke up there, nigga was spinning it, talking about nigga, this album is like, you know, it was crazy. It was all a part of like, we all was like together. We was young niggas that really wanted to make an impact, and we went for it. I really feel like that's like prime example of betting on yourselves
off top,
and not being like some motherfucking not being like some jerk offs that's not paying attention. We was getting a lot of support, and we embraced that support. Instead of getting on some like high and mighty shit, we knew we was popping, but we was still humble enough to link up with niggas and really like be that representation for the city that we only dreamed to be. Quinn and them was already had made it. It was like we were
a couple times.
and they were already on that status, but I just think we were like the first new niggas from the city in a long time. Right. It was dominated for a decade by that point by everybody. RBL,
like Frank White,
GLP, Selsky,
like y'all got fat this whole time.
We was like the first, and I'm always gonna use the word we because it's like it was us. It was like we were the first new blood that made it to that level coming out.
I talk to G Val about that all the time, about how him on his they come up with the Young Stars. How they used to see us in passing going to the club, and before we really even knew each other, and you for sure didn't know him. It was always, come on, like you
win.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I still get I get those DMs all the time on Instagram, like, hey bro, you probably don't remember me, but nigga, I was in some funk, and we was at a show in San Jose, and nigga, I was in it, and you told me you in with me. Like it's like I get DMs like that weekly. When niggas like, you brought me in the club with you, bro. Like, you saved my life that night. Or more importantly, like, you fucked with me, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
I was about to say with G-Val, like, that day, it was a day where his session was ending, or you came early to your session or something like that, and you just gave him a verse. And he was like...
and I think
like that all the time.
As weird as it was, and as selective as I was, it was still always important for us to keep the city tight. You know, come on, man. Larry June, bro. When he was just young June. 15 years old. All over, Get Down to Lay Down.
Yeah,
you know
I talked to Reese Beats about that.
Yeah,
his first record that he produced that came out was Zoom.
Hell yeah,
Larry
with Matt
June
Black and Larry June. That's what I was saying. It's crazy. So
we talk about that all. We just was talking about that.
So just going through those, it was just like we always knew our obligation and our responsibility to the city, and I think that was like, and niggas felt that energy. You know what I mean? So. That's why every show, every tour that was going on, with all our East Bay brothers, we was always selected to go because they knew, they understood, they felt that energy. So it was a good time. Yeah. It was a good time.
So Heart of the City was an incredible time. I always think about those times. To me, that was like our golden years. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was, not that it was the peak, but it was like. The grind
matched. We was on
the
fire,
fruits but the fruits matched the grind.
Yeah, like Get Money All Day came up out of that time.
Yeah,
MTV Looks, all of that type of shit. You know what I mean? Like all of that came out of that time. That was a great time.
Then came the Good As Money album.
Yes.
Which had one of probably your third biggest record. Can't Let Go or Can't Go.
Can't Go.
Can't Go. You, Balance, Jimmie Reign,
the Jack. Yes.
So how did that collab between you and Balance come together?
Balance, good dude. I think Balance, we connected on that energy as well. His hustle. He was buzzing like hell at that time as an artist. Like,
I think he had a ESK record.
Yeah, he had an ESK record too. That was hot. That was dope. I forgot the name of it too. That shit was dope though.
Yeah.
And I just think on some I think me and him kind of like was both not really on the hyphy shit. We kind of connected on that, and just always just being good dudes. He was a good dude. I was a good dude. We did business through his other job, you know, at Rasputin's and stuff like that. Yeah, he was a buyer over there. So we connected, and he wanted to do this group album. We wanted to light shit up. We did this song called Speakers on Blap with Tracks a Million.
Yeah.
And that session, when we did that, was, we got something. Like, let's go. So we ended up doing the whole project. Can't Go came out of it. He still don't know. We about to find out when he hear this interview that I wasn't inspired by the beat.
I remember.
So I was like, look, and I was like, D, bro, this nigga D.
Oh yeah,
D.O., bro. I did not want to rap on the song.
We took that verse.
So D.O. took that verse off of a whole nother song, and that's the first time I ever seen magic happen in front of me. He placed that verse off of a whole nother beat, whole nother tempo, everything, and placed it on top of that song. It was the first verse on it.
Damn, I forgot.
And that song, hands down, was my top 3 biggest songs of all time with Jack, Jimmie, and Balance. That shit was #1 in Sacramento, all that area, Stockton. We was going crazy out there doing shows, getting paid. It was a great time. Can't Go was a hit.
Damn.
They still love that song.
They do though.